Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here. Hey, today is, today is... Monday. It's a Monday. Today is July 2nd. Obviously, we're close to July 4th. And in my hand, I am holding the future success of Danbury. Now, you guys know how much I've talked about solarizing Danbury. Well, even Uncle Joe threw his hat into the ring, and he had somebody from a company come out, and guys, believe it or not, Uncle Joe has seen the light. That's right, they showed him the savings. There was one problem. Some of the structural integrity of the roof needs to be beefed up if he's going to go ahead with it. But I really haven't had a chance to sit down with Uncle Joe because everything has been happening at a breakneck pace here. And, you know, I spoke to the guy from the solar company that was at Uncle Joe's house. And he said to me, he goes, you know, Rich, you might want to check out, they had a program in Massachusetts, and I believe it's called Solarize Massachusetts. So of course I Googled it, and boom, there's Solarize Massachusetts. I said, let me take this a step further. So I put in Solarize Connecticut, and guess what comes up? The videos that I put on YouTube from the last show. Unbelievable. I mean, everybody is ignorant when it comes to solar power. And that's why we're here. We're going to break this logjam, and we're going to teach people about solar. And the fact, now here's the thing, there is 12 days before, now it's called CEFIA. It's the Clean Energy Finance and Investment Authority. Okay, they're the people that are running the pilot program, and this is going to be phase 3 now. They've already had 2 other phases which have been highly successful, and in the next phase they want to incorporate 4 to 8 additional communities. And let me tell you the goal behind CEFA. And you know, here's the thing. Remember we did a show 2 shows ago about Mayor Mark. Well, one of the prerequisites to getting into the program is the mayor has to be on board. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be on board. But we're going to talk an awful lot about this today. We're going to try to explain it the best way we can. And guys, I got to be honest with you. There's a lot to learn here. And if we really want to get on board with this, and if we want to take advantage of it, I'm going to need some help. I mean, we're really going to need some of the smarter guys that are involved, you know, with watching the show, because, I mean, letters have to be written. I mean, it's not a major thing, but, you know, I'm kind of busy, and I'm, you know, hey, I'm not going to be a Rhodes Scholar. You know what I mean? So if somebody can help get involved and we get the whole town behind everything, I mean, we could really make things happen here. All right, now what we're going to do is, we're going to do what we usually like to do when we first start the show. And we like to become patriotic for a little while. And we want to show the flag blowing in the breeze. Right, John? Are we coming up with that? There we go. All right. So, you know, whenever, you know, getting back to the flag blowing in the breeze, most people think, you know, patriotic thoughts, you know, they think of Mom, Chevrolet, apple pie, you know, all the good things. You know, all the good things that are associated with the flag. And plus the fact that we're going to have the 4th of July is big. But, you know, when you see that wind blowing in the breeze, it always reminds me of the Chinese proverb that I love to put up on here. And let's see, we're testing John now in the control room to see how fast he can do this. So there's the Chinese, there you go. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls, other people build windmills. And guys, I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? So if you can come back to me again, John, don't forget, guys, whenever you see the flag blowing in the breeze, what do you want to do? You want to turn to the guy next to you and you want to you want to scotch him. And you want to say to him, hey, what's that blowing in the breeze? And when they look at the flag, and they come away with all the patriotic symbolism, and you say, no, that flag represents free energy. And why aren't we harvesting that free energy? And then you look at the sun that surrounds the flag, and you say to yourself, why aren't we harnessing the energy from the sun? Why aren't we taking advantage of these things? And guys, it's pretty simple. It's because the 1% doesn't want us to take advantage of it. If we use solar power and if we use windmill and if we're not addicted to oil, guess what? They lose control. If you're running around in an electric car that's powered from the sun, from the solar panels on your roof, guess what? You don't care if gas goes to $5 a gallon, $10 you don't care if it goes to $100 a gallon. Why? Because you don't need it anymore. The fossil fuels, that's the old way that we used to do energy. No more. And the other beautiful thing about using renewable energy, we will never have to send our kids to fight for it. Never. We have so much wind and sun, believe me, we don't know what to do with it. So let's put these kids to work. Let's start doing the right thing. And the right thing is, when CLNP comes to us and they say, fellas, listen, we want to get on board. We want to fund these programs. And when you see the programs and you see what we're on the cusp of, we're on the verge of making things happen in Danbury. we could do stuff that the rest of the country can look at and say, look what they did in Danbury. Danbury, Danbury Connect. They made things happen. Why? Because they rallied as a community. They took care of each other. They did it for the common good. And that's why we're here, for the common good. No more of this 1% baloney. You know what I mean? Everybody together. Everybody sharing. We all take pride in what we do. Remember what I said. If we can raise money by putting in, solar power, and if we can get referral fees, we can donate the money to the city of Danbury. And like I said, the first thing we'd want to do is we'd want to make sure that all the kids get a good, healthy meal at the start of the day. And the second thing we want to do, we want to use that referral money to make sure that the senior citizens, every senior citizen gets a good, healthy meal once a day. Whether we got to bring it to them or not. This is so simple, guys. And then after that, the whole town will start to embrace the concept. And like when we're down during the summer at the Taste of Danbury, and we have a table set up where people can look at solar power, and then they can see how much money you can save and how it benefits the community, the town, and everybody else. And people will start to get on board. They'll start to get behind everything. So, I want to say one thing. I had emailed the clean energy, the CEFIA program to the mayor. And unfortunately, he didn't have enough time to review it today. He's got to be careful, and you have to understand. But, one of the prerequisites, to getting involved with this program is the applicant must provide a letter from the community's chief executive officer committing to the community's full participation and cooperation with CIEFA Smart Power in this program. The chief executive officer is defined for purposes of this RFP as the mayor, the first selectman, or the town manager. So if we can get the mayor behind us on this, hey guys, because they'll be doing advertising, they'll have a website, and the one thing that they really want to try to achieve with the fund, and this is virtually their mission statement, is they want to help change the world. And the way they want to do that is imagine residents, businesses, communities and educators joining together to push for clean, renewable energy sources in a dedicated effort to strengthen Connecticut's economy, protect community health, improve the environment, and promote a secure energy supply for the state. What more do you need to know? When CLMP says, listen guys, we want you to put solar manufacturing panels on your roof because we need you. Why wouldn't you want to get on board, especially if you're going to save money? And when you see some of the clips tonight, you're going to go, you really saved that much money? I mean, now, the problem is, guys, we only have 12 days left before they close out phase 3 and they select the 4 to 8 communities. So, I mean, we've got to move on this. And, you know, we got a holiday coming up. So, I mean, I really need some help. If people can go online and if you can Google the Clean Energy Finance and Investment Authority, they explain everything. It's a nice little roadmap of what has to be done. But we have to move fast, which means that we have to move at ludicrous speed. You're going to say, Rich, what's ludicrous speed? We're going to show you. John, hit us with the first clip.
Attack. Prepare to attack on the count of 3. 1, 2, wait. What happened? Where are they? I don't know, sir. They must have hyperjets on that thing. And what do we got on this thing? A Cuisinart? No, sir. We'll find them, catch them. Yes, sir. Prepare ship for light speed. No. Light speed is too slow. Light speed too slow? Yes. We're going to have to go right to ludicrous speed. Ludicrous speed? Sir, we've never gone that fast before. I don't know if the ship can take it. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? Prepare ship! Prepare ship for ludicrous speed. Fasten all seatbelts. Seal all entrances and exits. Close all shops in the mall. Cancel the free-range circus. Secure all animals in the zoo. Give me that, you petty excuse for an officer. Now hear this. Ludicrous speed. Sir, and you better buckle up. Now buckle this. Ludicrous speed. Go! Spaceball 1. They've gone to plaid. We passed them. Stop this thing. We can't stop. It's too dangerous. We've got to slow down first. Bullshit. Just stop this thing. I order you. Stop. Sir. Are you all right, sir?
Fine. How have you been?
Fine, sir.
Good.
It's a good thing you were wearing that helmet.
Yeah.
What should we do now, sir?
Well, are we stopped?
We're stopped, sir.
Good. Well, why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Very good, sir.
Smoke if you got 'em.
Smoke them if you got them. You know what I want to know? I want to know, when they actually film that, how did those guys stand there when they looked at Rick Moranis with the helmet with the glasses? How were they able to compose themselves? I mean, all right, but anyway, guys, so we got to move. I mean, we've got 12 days. So, I mean, really, you know, don't forget, we're on YouTube, so you can communicate with me through YouTube. Oh, and by the way, I want to thank all the people that have been subscribing to me. It's amazing. I'm getting like 1, 2 a day. I mean, people, I have no idea. And it seems that most of the people are subscribing to me because of Elon Musk. I mentioned his name and whew, things happen. But you know, you guys have been following the show. You know what Elon Musk is all about. You know what Tesla's all about. If you don't, you can go back to some of the other older shows on YouTube. You know, I mean, hopefully it'll be an education for everybody. And you know, the one thing that we always try to do here is we try to offer validity to everything that we say and do. And guys, I'm going to tell you something. Yours truly made a mistake last week, an honest mistake. And why did I make a mistake? Because I made an assumption. The one thing that I tell everybody not to do, I did myself. And I was under the impression that when you have solar power, when the sun comes up, even if the grid's down, you're going to be able to generate electricity. Guys, that's not the truth. No, if you have a standard system, you will not generate electricity. Because if you did, you might kill the guys that were trying to fix the grid. I didn't know that. I never realized that. However, you can get a system, a battery system, which will be more money, but you're going to see it. We're going to show you a video now, and this is from WFSB, Channel 3 in Danbury. So now you see what I'm talking about, validity, because now when the local TV stations start to feature solar power, the light starts to go on. So John, let's show everybody what Channel 3 did.
Both the feds and the state want you to get more serious about considering solar energy for your home, and they're putting money where their intentions are. Straight ahead, we'll tell you how you can get in on this. That's coming up.
And all new at 6. What?
At 5:30, some serious incentives for local residents wanting to put up solar panels. How much money could be going back in your pockets thanks to tax credits?
Then at 6, the aim to install solar panels on their homes to cut their energy bills. And as Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Dan Kane tells us, with the federal and state incentives now available, now is as good a time as any to get into the solar game.
The Hetrics of Durham say a number of factors went into their decision to install a solar system on their home. For Lynn, it was the chance to get away from traditional power sources.
I am trying to live as green as I can. That's the important part to me.
And then there were the power outages of the last year.
I think after the 2 recent storms, and we were out for 5 days with Irene and 6 days after the snowstorm.
The system they're getting includes battery storage, which is more elaborate than some.
We have a well, and that means no well pump and no water. We can live without the heat. Some of the lights, you can use candles, but the water, it's really hard to live without.
For her husband, cost was a major consideration.
And really now is the time to take advantage of it, because there's a lot of government help, state and federal. So that was a big motivator as well.
For an average home system costing about $35,000, batteries not included, there is a state rebate of 30%, $10,500, and a federal tax credit of about 20%, another $7,000, cutting the cost roughly in half. These are rough numbers, but you get the gist of it. It makes a home solar system a lot more attractive.
This home is ideally suited for solar because it has a big south-facing roof and there's very little shading, so there's no trees around here. So this means that they'll make more production, more kilowatt hours.
A number of variables are involved in pricing out a system, but the numbers available from the feds and the state can, for some, seal the deal. For more information on the state end of all this, go to our website, click on this story, and we'll give you a link that should get you started. We're in Durham, Dan Kane, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Live from WFSB, Connecticut's most watched local news.
Okay, where are we? Hartford. Oh, WFSB is in Hartford. I apologize. I thought it was in New Haven. Forgiven. Okay. Anyway, this next clip that we're going to show, we showed last week, but once again, I was so enamored with it. I want to show it again because, you know, as we pick up new people, you know, you just want to, and also to reinforce what you've already heard, because a lot of times, you know, repetition is the mother of learning. You know, the more you hear something, you know, you hear it over and over again, and it starts to sink in. You know what I mean? So anyway, the next video we're going to do is why install solar panels. So John, if you can hit us.
I think solar is one of the cleanest energies that we have available to us today.
The base reason for going with solar, it was financial for us because we're actually going to end up making money on the system.
We can feed that energy back into the grid and get paid for it.
It's a one investment with a return of 7 years or less, and then it's all gravy. It's all cash in the pocket.
What's happening is that the energy utility rates continue to rise.
Avoiding that energy inflation is a huge payback, meaning they reduce their power bill to a point where their solar system is actually offsetting 50% of their power.
We're locking in and fixing the price of our utility payment, and as a result, we've locked in our energy costs for at least 25 years.
My hope is not only that we'll have a lot of people with solar panels on their roofs, but in another 5 years we'll have a lot of people driving electric cars.
Gas might hit $5, $10 a gallon. We wouldn't even care.
The whole idea here, the whole theme, is to wean ourselves off fossil fuels.
It also has great earth benefits because it reduces your carbon footprint and contribute toward the solution for global warming.
As a mother, I think it's really important that we are not contributing to carbon in the air, that we have clean air to breathe.
It's about when I turn on my lights that I'm not burning a lump of coal somewhere.
For every $1 million in renewable energy spent, it creates 16.5 jobs, whereas if you spend $1 million on a fossil fuel energy source, it only creates 5.
This should be fun. I mean, why shouldn't we have fun making the world a better place?
I've had strangers pull into the driveway and say, "Tell me about your system." So this is a representation of all the 32 panels on my roof. You find out what the system actually produced in a year.
You go to Germany, Japan, Singapore, solar farms everywhere.
Solar is not the alternative energy. Coal's the alternative energy. Solar is the original energy.
Hopefully someday I'll have grandchildren, and I'd rather leave the world a little cleaner than what it was left for me.
Okay. All right, guys. So I wanted to show that because I just felt that you know, crossed the T's and dotted the I's. And you know, when the guy said people are pulling up into my driveway, you know, to ask me about it, you know, with the Solarize campaign, believe it or not, last Saturday at 1 o'clock in Covington, you could have went up and you could have watched. They actually had a company. They were welcoming people to come and watch. I'm sure they had coffee and whatever, you know, but yeah, because a lot of people are confused. You know, they've been misled. And if they listen to Fox News, they're going to think that solar panel doesn't work. But as we go on, we're going to show you. Now, there's some little confusion about whether you're buying the panels, you're leasing the panels, if you're putting money down, if you're buying them outright. So we're going to show you another clip that'll show you the kind of difference between the different options, and then we're going to actually get into some of the Solarize clips. So John, if you can hit us with the next clip.
It's efficient, it's clean. This is going to be the future.
Join your neighbors to Solarize Connecticut. The more who go solar, the more you save.
The prices are now lower than ever.
Solarize Connecticut makes it easy for you to save money while reducing your carbon footprint.
There's never been a better time in Connecticut to go solar.
Take the first step to solarize your home. Call the number on your screen by December 14th.
Okay, well, we showed the wrong clip, so let's hope. Let's hope. John, do we have the still? Do you have that still from Solarize Bridgeport? Any luck with that? No, but
That's a good one.
it's with the guys. Look at this. When there's a huge solar energy spill, it's just called a nice day. Hey, remember the other show we showed you where they spilled the oil in Arkansas when it rained? Oh, mamma mia. You know, guys, that's enough to turn your stomach, and I think you're starting to get the idea. All right, now let's try this again because I'm all confused now. And John, let's roll the next clip and we'll just fake it.
Wouldn't it be nice to open your utility bill and have it be a fraction of what it used to be? It may seem impossible, especially since the cost of electricity keeps going up. In fact, utility rates increase about 5% every year. So what can you do about it? Ever consider solar? Today, getting started is easier than ever. In fact, you can get solar power without even having to pay for the solar panels. Now, you can even get it installed for free. Make the switch to better energy with Solar City. With Solar City, you simply pay for your solar power by the month, just like your utility bill, only lower. And your low solar price is locked in, so you keep saving money month after month and year after year, even as utility rates keep going up. The concept is simple. Save money on your utility bills and power your home with clean energy. You have several different ways you can pay for your electricity from Solar City: solar lease and a solar power purchase agreement, or PPA. How do you decide which one is right for you? Both are great options. With solar lease, you pay by the month for the equipment. With solar PPA, you pay by the kilowatt hour for the power. With either a lease or a PPA, you also have several flexible payment options. You can go solar for $0 down and pay as you go. Pay a little to lock in a lower rate, or pay more to lock in the lowest rate available. Regardless of the plan, you'll have solar power for far less than you currently pay. All the energy plans come with full support, including a monitoring service, repairs, and a money-back performance guarantee. Solar City makes the transition to better energy smoother than you ever thought possible, taking care of every detail for you, from design to installation to rebates to permits. Take it from the homeowners. Our electric bill was so low, I was worried that there was a mistake, but now I'm convinced. Thank you, Solar City. Going solar would not have been possible without you guys. Going solar just got a whole lot easier and a lot more affordable with Solar City. Contact us for a free consultation and proposal to see how much you can save. You've got nothing to lose and a lot to save on your monthly energy bills. If you prefer, set up a consultation online. Thank you.
Okay, guys, right now we're on the Solarize scoreboard. And these are the houses that have been done in Bridgeport, Canton, Coventry, Mansfield, and Wyndham. So you can see how this is starting to have an effect. Now, when it comes to solarizing Danbury, the way this works is they only use one company. One company is selected by the town to do all the houses. So even though the last clip that we showed Solar City, the clip before that showed another company, and all I'm trying to do here, guys, is be fair. Because we don't know what companies are going to be picked. So there's no partiality, and what happens is if we go with this program, the Cephia program, only one installer gets picked. But the reason why I'm showing you these clips is for the education, so you understand, not so that we push you in one direction, because that direction will be made up by, I believe, probably by the mayor and his staff. They're going to select which company, and whichever company they had the most success with in the past, and from what I understand, the company that they have used, they've worked very well with, so they'll probably lean in that direction. So I don't want to be accused of, well, you're showing one side of this. No, no. It's just that it would be too hard to edit every clip. So, let's try to be fair with each other and let's be honest. Okay? All right, now, like I told you earlier, I didn't know that any Solarize programs existed, and the first one I was exposed to was Solarize Massachusetts. So, they have something up in Massachusetts called SRECs. Anybody ever hear of an SREC? Me neither. So here's something else that we're learning today. And what's an SREC? An SREC is solar renewable energy credits. No charge. That's what pays for the system. All right, now we're going to show you the, and we have the Massachusetts town administrator, which I think is the mayor, but I could be wrong. But I never knew what a first selectman was until I moved to Connecticut. So, but anyway, we're going to play this clip, and this is going to show you how they've taken advantage of the Solarize Massachusetts and how we can do virtually the same thing in Connecticut. Let's learn something. John?
Solarize, Danbury, Sutton.
Hi, I'm Carrick. Today I am visiting with Jim Smith, the town administrator of Sutton, who is a big advocate for solar power. Jim doesn't just talk about it, though. He puts solar panels on his own roof, too. And I'm visiting with Jim to talk about how it's working out for him.
So it's great, since you're town administrator, that you actually put solar panels on your house.
I mean, it's great to reduce the carbon footprint of the community and everything else, but the bottom line is I could save a lot of money by doing this, and it made perfect sense economically.
Mm-hmm. How much electricity do the panels produce here?
It's a 9 kilowatt system, which produces enough electricity for this home. I've only had it in the wintertime, so I haven't seen how it's going to operate in the summertime, but I'm supposing that even with air conditioning and everything else, I'll still get a credit from National Grid.
So solar can be a really big investment. How long do you think it'll take to make your money back?
This system costs $34,000, and I got $14,000 back in a federal tax rebate. So it essentially only cost me $20,000, and I should be able to get that back in 5 years through the sale of SRECs.
So you may be thinking, what the heck is an SREC anyway? Well, I'm glad you asked. An SREC is a... What is that? That is not an SREC. SRECs are solar renewable energy credits. If you buy solar panels for your house, the electric company pays you SRECs for the electricity you generate. Think of it like a solar stock that pays you a dividend every 3 months. So on top of not having to pay much or anything for an electric bill every month, and the rebates and tax credits you get for going solar, and the big discount you get from the Solarize Danbury-Sutton program, SRECs are extra payments the electric company makes to you 4 times a year, which helps make the payback for the solar panels even faster.
I mean, I think I will produce probably 9 or 10 SRECs per year, which will amount to, at the minimum price of roughly $300 per SREC, or $3,000. So if you think about that, I'll pay this system off in 5 or 6 years, and then, the rest is gravy.
So can everybody have solar panels and have a zero electricity bill like you?
Actually, it helps if you have a southern exposure, a roof that faces south, and really one that doesn't have a whole lot of shading or trees that block the sun. So our roof has perfect southern exposure and there's no trees blocking it, so you can see the solar panels are working nonstop. You know, obviously the building department has to inspect your roof and make sure it's solid enough to be able to hold solar panels, but typically that's not a problem with houses built in today's age. So yeah, I mean, I would encourage everybody to go and get an evaluation done and to see if they have a good southern exposure and to see if it's something they could undertake.
Cool. So what are those 2 panels on the roof below the others? They look a little different.
Those are actually solar thermal panels. They heat hot water before it goes to the boiler. So the water temperature gets up to maybe 140, 160 degrees at this time of year, and it feeds the boiler. So I don't have to use oil for heating hot water. So I heat with a pellet stove and I use the solar thermal year-round. You know, my oil bill hasn't really moved because I haven't filled up the tank for almost the entire year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the government helps to subsidize part of the solar panels?
Yeah, essentially, indirectly. They provide a 30% tax rebate, but that's actually a policy by the federal government to kind of try to increase the use of renewable energy in the community, in the society. And I think it's better than sending the money overseas to oil companies that don't necessarily have America's best interest in mind. So I think it's wise to invest a little bit in it. Obviously, there's a significant investment for homeowners, but it's one that's now manageable with the tax rebate from the federal government.
For more information on the Solarize program for Millbury and Sutton, visit solarizemillburysutton.com.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Don't be so critical.
You know, I want to say something to that kid's parents. You're molding him in the right direction. You should be proud of yourself. I mean, the kid's on the ball. He understands. He's aware. He's going to make a difference, you know? You're not hiding anything from him. You know, I tell you, he did a beautiful job. You should be proud of him, you know? And as a matter of fact, the next video we're going to do, he's in that one as well. And I tell you, I struggle to get these videos up and do what I do. So I don't know how this kid did it, but hey, rock and roll, kid. Keep it going. Don't stop, you know? Straight ahead. Just straight ahead, just focus. Don't look left, don't look right. Just keep going. And that's what we want to do in Danbury. Forge straight ahead. We want to make Danbury the solar capital of Connecticut. And you know, the funny thing was today, I spoke to Morris Gross from the Danbury Hospital. He's the vice president of Danbury Hospital. And believe it or not, he had the foresight back in, I think it was 76 or 77, to put the solar panels on Danbury Hospital. And the solar panels that were up there were to heat hot water. And they haven't used them because they don't do the laundry there anymore. However, I spoke to him today, and the brackets that hold the solar panels in place are still there, and they've been well maintained. So he said, like any good businessman, if the price is right, he wants to go ahead with solar. What would be a more fitting testament to the solar city of Connecticut, the Connecticut connection, than to look up at that hospital and see all those solar panels looking over Danbury? The mother of the solar panels with all the other little tattoos on all the different roofs. And we can all make such a difference. And you know, you put a tattoo on your roof, not only do you feel good, but if you're a capitalist, you can also make money. That's right. So, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you could become a global warmist, you know, and you could say, well, you know, I mean, I only did that because of the money, you know. But in essence, you know, you're doing it for your kids' future. All right, now we're going to show the second video from the little guy up in Massachusetts, and I'm going to give him some kudos, but John, let's roll it.
Solarize Danbury, Sutton.
Today I'm visiting my friends Chuck and Lynn Lids in Sutton. They had solar panels installed on their house last year to make electricity. Chuck and Lynn explained to me why they decided to go solar.
Well, I guess that, we felt pretty strongly about the energy independence issues, and we felt pretty strongly about the climate change, but we really started out just to get solar hot water.
Right.
And because we had that when we lived in Maine and we really liked it. But then we talked to people and they persuaded us that solar panels, photovoltaic panels would be better.
They pay off much faster with the rebates that are offered. So we decided that we would go with solar PVs, and
so far it seems to be paying off.
It's working out well. We don't pay very much in electrical bills at all.
Cool.
We have about 20 panels on the roof.
I drive by your house all the time, but I always wondered how it works. Could you explain that to me?
Well, the panels generate direct current, and you don't use direct current in your refrigerator and your television and so forth. We use alternating current. So it has to go to something called an inverter.
Chuck brought me down into the basement to show me the inverter, which converts the electricity from the solar panels into power that the house can use.
Then we can use it, or we can feed it back through the wires to the utility company. And they then credit us for what we generate, and often we have no utility bill, which we really like.
Cool.
One of the only downsides is that when there's a lot of snow on them, it melts pretty quickly, and if you're out shoveling on the deck, you have to watch out for an avalanche, because there's a lot of snow that comes off.
Chuck and Lynn can log on to a website that shows how much electricity their solar panels are generating today, or over the last month or year. Pretty cool.
And you can see that.
So you don't actually pay anything on your electric bill anymore?
Well, we have about a year of experience now, and I figure we pay about $10 a month. Sometimes, if it's a really cloudy month, we might pay $20 or $30. Sometimes it's zero. Wow. Often it's a credit bill, so we don't owe anything at all.
Huh. So do you guys earn any money by doing this?
Oh, yes. We sell it back to the grid on most any sunny day.
Cool.
And then we get these SRECs, which are payments that basically the utility companies have to buy these credits, and so we sell, or a company sells these credits for us, and we get, it varies, but so far we've got about $500 every quarter for these credits. So this is going to pay back in about 6 years, which is pretty good given, nothing else you can do these days. They'll give you a 15% interest rate or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
Wow.
So we're happy we did it.
Yeah, cool.
It's too bad we can't take advantage of the new Solarize Mass program, because that's even a quicker payback.
Would be even cheaper, right?
But we're happy that we have an opportunity to have more people involved.
Yeah. For more information on the Solarize program for Millbury and Sutton, visit solarizemillburysutton.com.
Okay, now did you see at the end of that how they had, at the elementary school, how they had the education fair? And that's virtually what we'd want to do in Danbury. You know what I mean? We'd want to educate everybody. And, I got to be honest with you. Until 3 weeks ago, I really thought solar panels didn't work. I thought they weren't cost effective. That's what I thought the payback was, But the price of solar has come down so drastically, and there's so much of it being used, and it's fallen into favor with people. And this is what we want to do. We want to keep, priming the pump. Just keep it going. Keep it going. Keep the money flowing. Keep the money coming into Danbury. Let's take care of each other, Now, they've been using Solarize in Bridgeport, and it's been working pretty well. I mean, they've been out there making things happen, and we're going to show you what we've been able to accomplish solarizing Danbury before we got involved with the heavyweights, or hopefully before we get involved with the heavyweights. But if we can look at this graph over here now, there we go. Now, the name on the left side of the chart are people that called up to see if they qualified for solar power. And what I mean by qualified is they take a satellite picture of your house, and if your roof is too shaded, or if the orientation of your house is facing the wrong way, or if you live behind a mountain, you might not qualify. It's not because of the money, nothing financial or nothing, but the thing is, let's face it, you're not going to put solar panels in a dark room, So you're not going to put them on a roof, a heavily shaded roof, until they come out with the better panels. But believe it or not, the panels that are available now work even on cloudy days. They're not as effective, but they still work. So those things are still generating electricity. So if we come back to the chart, you'll see we have 5 people that have called up, and out of the 5, 3 didn't qualify. And why didn't they qualify? Well, I'm number 1 at the top of the list. You could see I have too many trees on my property. Joey, Uncle Joey, he qualified. He lives up in New York State. He had the guy come out, and hopefully next week we'll be able to get all the facts and figures from Uncle Joe. And I have to admit, I spoke with the installer after he was at Uncle Joe's house, and he said Uncle Joe said that he's going to have to eat some crow. So, Joe, it's not that you have to eat crow. You're like me. You're ignorant to the fact that solar panel works. And when I say you're ignorant, I don't mean you're stupid. I'm not insulting you. We're all ignorant, and that's why we're here, so that